Dear student, welcome to biosprit. In last class, I given second PUC biology fixed questions. That is, I covered 7 chapter, and in this video, I am covering remaining chapters. So next chapter is 8th chapter, microbes in human welfare. From this chapter, first question arises like that: draw a neat label diagram of typical biogas plant. It is most important. Many times they arise in for this question. You have to draw a diagram and you have to label it. Sometimes they will ask diagram plus explanation, and sometimes they will ask direct only for the diagram. And second question is there: mention the beneficial role of anaerobic bacteria in secondary sewage treatment. So in secondary sewage treatment, what are the benefit roles are there related to the anaerobic bacteria? You have to mention. And next third question is there: discuss the role of fungi as a biofertilizers. So for a biofertilizers, what are the benefits are there from fungi? You have to mention and you have to discuss detailing. And next, briefly describe the role of biological control of pest and disease. So for this question, you have to write detail biological control, pest and disease roles. And next fifth one is there: explain the different stages involved in the sewage treatment. So here primary sewage treatment, secondary sewage treatment, like that is there. You have to explain all the stages. Next sixth question is there: describe the part of biogas plant with a label diagram. Already I discussed in first question only. Sometimes they will arise the only diagram, sometimes they will arise diagram plus explanation. So it is repeated is there. And next seventh one: explain the role of microbes in industrial product. So what are the benefits of microbes are there related to the industrial products? Next eighth one is there: explain the role of microbes in household product. So some microbes are benefit for the house, means kitchen. For example, you take lactobacillus. It is a one type of bacteria. It is present in the curd. So like that, few bacteria are there. It is benefit for the food. So those you have to mention. And next ninth one is describe the role of microbes as a biofertilizers. So here you have to write role of microbes as a biofertilizers. Next 10th one is explain the role of organism as a biocontrol agent. Next it is A question is there, and B question: what is the significance of BOD? BOD means biochemical or oxygen demand is there. That significance you have to write. And next third one is C1 is there: give an example for the fungus found in mycorrhiza. So which fungus is present in the mycorrhiza and what is the benefit of mycorrhiza, you have to write. Next chapter is biotechnology principles and process. So from this chapter, first question is mention the different steps of process of recombinant DNA technology, and you have to explain here step by step. And for annual exam, you have to focus to write point wise answers, and that point will cover the whole explanation. If you are writing like that and if you are maintaining handwriting, then examiner will give full marks. So you have to maintain the writing skill also. That is most important is how you are writing and what are the content you are involving. And if you are writing in stepwise means, so what are the points you are including, that is they are checking. And majority they are checking your handwriting. And second one is draw a neat label diagram of stirred tank bioreactor, and it is most important is so many times they arise this diagram. You have to practice this diagram. Next third question is write a short note on downstream process. So from biotechnology principles and process, last they given downstream processing, that is packaging and storage. So like that is and next fourth one is explain the future of cloning vectors. And fifth one is classify restriction enzyme and mention the function of each. Next sixth one is draw a label diagram of plasmid PR322. It is also most important is you have to practice this diagram. Next seventh one is draw a neat label diagram of typical agrosel electrophoresis. So here sometimes they will arise the agrosel electrophoresis diagram, and sometimes they will arise the question on what type of chemical they are using, like ethidium bromide, bromophenol blue, like that, what is the function of those chemicals. So they will arise. You have to practice diagram plus and explanation. Next, eighth one is that explain in brief the separation and isolation of the DNA fragment. So briefly you have to explain how you are separating and how you are isolating DNA fragments. And next, ninth one is that mention any two technique to make host complaint in the competent in the DNA technology. And next, 10th one is that what is significance of selectable marker in cloning vector. Next question is there, write the important uses of following in rDNA technology. First, A1 is there PCR. PCR, it is helpful for the multiplying of a DNA fragment. And second, B is there ethidium bromide. Ethidium bromide, it is a dye used in gel electrophoresis for visible of DNA fragment under the UV light. And next, bioreactor. Bioreactor means it is helpful for the culturing, organism culturing. And next, 12th question is there, what is the elution, and explain the gel electrophoresis. Elution means separation of the solvent is there, and you have to explain the gel electrophoresis in detail. And 13th one, A is there, mention any 4 tool required for the recombinant DNA technology. And from this 13th one, second question is there, B1, name the plasmid present in Agrobacterium tumefaciens. Next, 14th question is there, differentiate between the endonuclease and exonuclease. In this only word they giving that definition. Endo means and exo means. You have to find. Endo means inside, exo means outside. So if it is cutting in inside, that is one type is there, and if it is cutting at the outside means that is another type is there. And 15th one is that diagrammatically represent the recombinant DNA technology. And 16th one is that explain the process of denaturation, annealing and extension with respect to polymer chain reaction. So in polymer chain reaction, total 3 steps is there. One, denaturation means breaking of a hydrogen bond, and next one is there annealing, binding of a primer, and next extension. Extension means after binding primer it is framing the one more new DNA strand. That is you have to explain. Next, 17th is there, why restriction enzyme is called molecular scissor, because it is helpful for the cutting of a genetic material. For example, restriction enzyme we are using for the cutting of a DNA, so that's why we are calling as a molecular scissor. And next chapter is there, 10th chapter, biotechnology and its application. From this chapter, first question they arise, one of the application of a biotechnology is the production of insect resistant crop plant. Justify this statement with reference to BT cotton. Yes, this statement is correct, because for example in BT cotton, so the caterpillar it is consuming the whole leaf part, and after consuming, and scientists they start thinking, once the caterpillars they start consuming whole leaf means it will destroy the plant. So that's why we have to resistant by using some technology. They for that they used Bacillus thuringiensis. That Bacillus thuringiensis spores they sprayed on the leaf, and the caterpillar they start consuming those spores. It will enter in the gut line of the caterpillar and it will start dying. And so it is one technology, it is helpful for the agriculture. So that's why you have to write in, you have to justify this statement. And second one is there, what is biosprit, explain with reference to basmati rice. Here you have to write definition of biosprit, and next you have to explain the how the basmati rice they prepared by using technology. And next, third question is there, write a short note on gene therapy. So gene therapy detail you have to write. And next, in which way genetically modified plants are used, where they are using you have to mention. And fifth one is there, what is gene therapy, name the disorder to which clinical gene therapy was given first, and how ADA deficiency was cured by a gene therapy. These are the gene therapy three variety of question is there. Concept is single. You have to read detail. Next question is there. Seventh one. What is the RNA interference? You have to write RNA interference definition. Next, how does RNA interference helps to develop resistance in the tobacco plant against the nematode injection? So next 18th one is list the benefit of transgenic animals, and 9th one is write a short note on insulin. Next 11th chapter is organisms and population. From this chapter first question arise like that, define motility, and second one is define natality. Motility means you have to recall always by using that is mouth. Mouth means in Hindi we are considering it is death. So why I given clue means because it is confusing. So natality means birth. Next third question is how does some species of a insect and frog avoid being detected by the predators? Some species is that is specific insect and frog, they are avoiding by a predators making some mimicry. You have to write in detail. And next fourth one is state gaseous competitive exclusion principle. So that gaseous state what they given you have to write. And next fifth one is a prey develops defense against a predator, and justify this statement with two examples in animals. A prey is there, how they defending against the predators, how they protecting against the predator. So by taking two animal example you have to explain it. And sixth question is there, parasites have an evolved special adaptation, list them. So parasite is there, they have one specific evolved special adaptation is there. What are those adaptation you have to mention. And next seventh is mutualism is a method of population interaction, explain with example. Means you have to write detailed information about mutualism. So next eighth one is explain the broad parasitism and sexual descent as an interaction of the species with an example. Means here the totally they given parasitism, parasite, that you have to explain in detail. Next ninth one is in ninth A question, define the following terms. First one commensalism, and second one mutualism, third one is parasitism. So these three definition you have to write, and with the definition you have to give example for the each. Means commensalism definition you have to write and you have to give one example for that, and mutualism definition and one example you have to write, and parasitism one definition plus one example you have to write. And next B question is there, mention four basic process that fluctuate the density of the population in a given habitat. Next 10th one is there A question, name the type of interaction between algae and fungi in lichens. How they interacting algae with lichens, how the fungi they interact with the lichens you have to write. Next question is there B, what are the ectoparasite and endoparasite? You have to write definition for the ectoparasite and endoparasite. Ectoparasite means it is effect on the outside the body. Parasite means the organism they depends on the other for food purpose without killing it. If it is depends on outside, then we are calling as ectoparasite. It is depends on the inside the body means then we are calling as a endoparasite. Next C is there, write any four factor that influence the population density. So the four factors are there, they have influencing for the population density. You have to mention those factors. And next 11th is there, mention the population interaction exist among the followings. Ambidon tortoise and goat in Galapagos Island. B1 is there, cocoa lays egg in crown insect. And C1 is there, sea anemone and clownfish. D is there, wasp laying egg in the fig fruit. And fifth one is there, that is E, orchid of figis and bees. Chapter is there 12 chapter ecosystem. From this chapter first question is there, that is A, distinguish between the primary productivity and secondary productivity of the ecosystem. Here you have to write difference between primary productivity and secondary productivity. Next, B is there, what is food chain or define food web. Give one example. Means you have to write definition for the food web and you have to write the one example for that. And next, second question is there, write the diagrammatic representation of pyramid of a energy, number, biomass, and describe with one example. It is most important is that sometimes they will arise only the pyramid of energy, or sometimes they arise on the number, and sometimes they arise on the biomass. The most important is that is biomass and energy. Next, third question A is there, mention the functional component of an ecosystem. Means which one is the functional component of ecosystem, you have to mention it. B is there, what is the trophic level, you have to write definition for the trophic level. And fourth one is there, write a short note on ecosystem. By taking any one ecosystem you have to explain it. Next, fifth one is there, ecological pyramids have a limitation, justify the statement with 3 reasons. Why the ecological pyramids they have a limitation, you have to justify by using 3 reasons, by giving 3 reasons. Sixth one is that describe the 3 factors effect on the decomposition. During decomposition, the total 3 factors they affecting, what are those 3 factors, you have to mention and you have to explain individual. Next, seventh one is that explain the important steps involved in the process of the decomposition. It is similar is that they arise in another angle, the steps you have to mention. Next and last chapter is there, biodiversity and conservation. From this chapter, first question, what are scarecrows, and mention any 2 examples. You have to write definition for the scarecrows and you have to write 2 examples. Next, second question is there, mention the evil quadrant of the biodiversity loss. And next, third question, list out any 4 effect of the loss of biodiversity. So 4 effects are there, it is effect on the loss of biodiversity. So next, fourth one is the introduction of the some alien species cause the biodiversity loss. Some alien species are there, though you have to write those which alien species they cause the biodiversity loss, and it is true or not definition, you have to write yes or no. If it is yes means you have to give no reason by taking example, or if it is no answer means then you have to write, you have to explain with one example. Next, fifth one is a write 2 example for the loss of biodiversity due to the alien species invagination. It is also similar is that they arise in the another angle. Next, sixth is a define biodiversity. Write any 4 type of the biodiversity. First you have to write definition of biodiversity and you have to mention the types of the biodiversity. And next, seventh is a name any 4 recent extinct organism as per IUCN red list. In IUCN red list, which species it is recent extent is there, that is you have to mention. And eighth one, A question is there, what is extensive conservation, mention 2 examples. And B question is there, mention any 4 or 2 species which have become extinct due to the over exploitation. So by over exploitation, which species they become as extinct, you have to write that over exploitation just takes place by human being only. And already I hope you studied this chapter. Next, ninth one is a trophical region has a greater biodiversity than the temperate region. Why the trophical region they have greater biodiversity compared to temperate region, you have to write justify this statement with 3 reasons. So you have to give 3 reasons. And next question is the 10th one, mention a biodiversity hotspot in India. So in India, what are the hotspots are there, biodiversity hotspot, you have to mention it. And 11th one is what is endemic. Sorry student, part 2 video I am uploading too late because I am not feeling well, so for that I taken more time. So if you want, that is question plus answer means I will try to upload, and if you want passing package means you comment me in this video, I will make a passing package also. So if you like our video, please subscribe and share.